Hey folks, Jeff here at Back to Country. It's a balmy 40 degrees this morning, and we are officially on day 8 of our build. So far, things are going pretty good overall. Still believe anybody can do this, so there's the bottom line. So let's take a look at what we did yesterday. So here's the end section on the slab. We got the rafter up yesterday and then put up all the purlins across the top. So that is all tied in and good to go. We do have a set of cable bracing that we're going to check over there because we shortened 4 inches. We got to see if those cables are still going to work or if we're going to need to shorten cables or not. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, the temporary bracing that we got up is more than sufficient to keep everything tight. And of course, remember, there's bracing all the way across the top and down the side. So that's all good. And when you're up there on top working on this, the building does feel very rigid. So it's tied together pretty well. We also have some end wall purlins and stuff that go up with girts and all that. That bolt pattern there. There's another one over there by those sticks. So that basically runs a set of C purlin that goes from here up to that tab on the rafter. And you can see there's a tab over there as well. And so another one goes there, and then it's all tied together with girts, and that's how you close in this back section. We're not putting those up at this time because I still have some more work to do, and I really don't want those in my way when I'm reaching in with the telehandler, so that I can go up and drill holes. So remember, these purlins as part of our solution to the 4-inch loss. All these purlins on top basically got moved 4 inches. So on this end, there are only 2 bolts holding them. There should be at least 4, and it's not a big deal for now, but in the long run, we definitely want to do it the way the engineers intended it to be done. And so what we've got to do is, next to those bolts, there should be 2 holes. You can see the empty holes maybe next to them. Hope you can see that in the camera. You know, there's 2 bolts there, and then there's 2 empty holes next to it, but they're on the wrong side of the pattern. So I don't know if you can see up in the camera, if you can see the tabs behind the purlins there where the 2 bolts come through, and then there's 2 empty holes. The problem is there's no holes in the purlin. So those all got to be drilled out, but I really didn't want to fight all that using just a regular hand drill. If you've ever drilled steel with a hand drill, you know that it's not a lot of fun, and it'll really wear you out. So if you got a lot of drilling to do, always better to use a drill press. The problem is that obviously I'm not going to take all those down and walk them over to a drill press and drill every single hole. So the intent is to use a magnetic drill press. So if you're familiar with drills, you know that there's a magnetic type that basically is a portable drill press for using on stuff like this. You put it up against your steel, flip a switch, and an electronic magnet comes on, holds it to the steel with I don't know, I've seen them anywhere from 1,000 pounds to a few thousand pounds. So I don't remember what mine is, but I ordered one yesterday from Amazon, so I didn't go with one of the more expensive brands. Or did I? I can't remember. Maybe I did. Maybe I ordered an Evolution. I think I did, actually. I don't know. We'll figure it out when it gets here, but I ordered a magnetic drill press and some annular cutting bits, so those should be much better for for drilling those holes, and it'll obviously be a lot easier. So when I come back, I've got to get up there and drill holes and whatnot, fix everything, get it right. And so I didn't want to be moving the man basket, so to speak, around with those end walls up. So we're going to leave that open for now. And because that drilling has to be done as well, and the eaves still need to be done, we did not put up this end, the columns that go out here on the piers, because those columns basically go up and then they tie together on the outside with eaves, rafters, and purlins going all the way across, just like all this. So I want to get all that stuff drilled and everything before I start messing with that. I also started welding the eave strut yesterday, and if you've ever welded, welding mild steel with a stick welder is not one of my favorite things to do. It really takes a lot of skill and patience, and basically mild steel, the stick welder is just too hot to be able to do it quick. So you end up doing a whole lot of little tack welds trying to keep your heat down so you don't burn through your steel. And of course, I don't have the patience, so I end up burning some holes, and then I got to fill the holes. And when you're trying to fill holes, slag runs into the holes and it looks full, but then when you tap your slag out, you still got a hole there, and it's just a whole lot of you know, not my favorite thing to do. So I got one welded, wasn't happy with the results. It took me half a day to literally do it. So I decided, hey, I got to go back to town anyway. When I come back, I'm going to bring my wire feed welder and I'll MIG weld that. And that's a lot better for mild steel. You can turn your heat way down and control everything a lot better. And that's more my liking. So that's what we're going to do on that. So we'll take care of that next week. So I'll be leaving in a day or two here. Got to head back to the city for a couple of days to take care of something. And then Lorena and I will turn around and head back. And Whiskey will join us, of course. And today we're going to work on finishing up these sidewalls here. So we've got a 14-foot door that's going to go in here on both sides. And there are no columns on this end, so basically you have an end wall, and we're going to tie everything to the end wall. Did make a little mistake that I've got to fix. So unfortunately I ran over these bolts with the telehandler. So this one here is bent, and this one here is bent and it's partially broken. So what we're going to try to do is heat these up a little bit, see if we can bend this one straight without breaking it. And then this one, we'll see if we can bend it straight without breaking it off completely. Probably going to try to weld it a little bit and see if that'll firm it up, since that'll basically be below the steel line if I can weld it. But then what I'm going to do is when we put the bracing bracket here, I'm going to go ahead and drill another hole in that on the drill press before we put it on. And then we'll take the hammer drill down into the concrete and put another anchor bolt in there just to be sure that it's good to go. I don't think there'll ever be a problem with it, but I like to over-engineer things where I can and make sure they're squared away. So that's what we're going to do. And you know, it's just another one of those things that you don't plan for. When it happens, you got to roll with it. So we're definitely being plenty flexible on all this. So hopefully today we'll get this section up, and of course the final thing to do will be to put purlins up there as well and get all that tied in. So we're gonna get to work. That's where we're at. Stick with us. All right, so I said that these bolts were bent. We were able to heat this one up and bend it back, and we tried to heat this one and bend it, and it was already busted halfway through, so it just broke off. So now what I'm going to do is try to weld it back on, and hopefully that'll hold. But I still intend to drill another hole, at least one hole in the base plate, and then put another anchor bolt into the concrete just to guarantee that I've got strength on that. So let's see how that goes. Alright, so we've been doing some work. Unfortunately, I forgot to set up the camera. You get focused on what you're doing and it's easy to forget to film. But let me recap what we've done thus far. Okay, so we've got two big doors on this end. You got two 14 by 14 foot doors, so we're putting up the door frames. First thing we had to do was take all these pieces, lay them out, put these clips on the side that'll tie to girts. Had a clip here to tie the header in, and a clip on the end that'll support the eave. So those will tie into the eave strut, and that's on both sides. So we did that here and another one over there. And then what we did was we put a strap on it, and we did one strap. Bad idea. The last one we raised, we had two straps on, much more stable. This was a lot more challenging with one strap, so we won't do that again. Anyway, doors are configured the exact same, and you can see we've already put on the bottom girt there. So we've got that tied into the existing structure. I'm about ready to elevate Hank on the pseudo man lift and raise him up to put the second girt on, so that's tied in even better up at the top there. They're also bolted to the anchor bolts with clips down on the bottom. That was part of the prep work, is also putting clips on the door jambs that mount to the anchor bolts in the concrete. So we're doing that. Once we get this one all attached and steady, then we will go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Alright, unfortunately the parking brake on this doesn't hold very well, so I was going to get out and try to film better, but I'm stuck here with my foot on the brake. So basically what Hank is doing is he's removing a couple of bolts we put into the girt that's already up there. He's got the new girt that goes in between, and it overlaps the existing girt. So he's basically working on that overlap, lining up the holes, and then he will probably use the spud wrench, because there's a lot of tension on those things, and line it up with a spud wrench to get those bolts in there and get everything torqued down and put back together. And that's basically what putting this building together has been, a whole lot of that. Just lining stuff up, putting bolts in it, and on to the next. Rinse and repeat over and over again. So two guys with zero experience doing this. Today is day 8. There are 5 20-foot bays in this building. We've done the first 3 that are on the slab. Today we're putting up number 4, which is here on the slab. And then we're going to do this end wall to tie it all together. Get the rafter up for the end wall, and then put purlins to tie all that into the roof structure. And hopefully we'll complete this section today. That's our goal. We'll see if we meet it. It's a lot of detail, a lot of little pieces, and the more pieces you got, the longer it takes. First thing we had to do was find all the pieces, lay everything out, do all the attaching of clips and everything for the doors, get those ready. Once we get to the end wall, we got the same thing. We got end wall columns that have clips for girts and everything, so there's a lot of prep work that'll go into that. Get those end wall columns up, and then the big challenge will be getting that rafter, which is already put together. Maybe we should have done that in 2 pieces, we'll see. But we can get this whole thing together today and tie it in with some purlins, we'll be good. Alright, we got a little bit of wind we're dealing with, so Hank had a better idea here. We basically left the pallet on the forks and just lifted the whole thing on top of the pallet. Gave us the ability to line up a little better, and we can still do some shifting. He's putting in a couple bolts on that side. He'll get the bolts on the other side, and all of this is finger tight. We did not tighten it to give us play in that. And we'll get this thing lined up, shift it over a little bit to line up with those girts up there, and then we'll start tightening everything up and getting the bolts in it. And that should come together pretty well and give us another side to work with here.